Hi, I'm Rick with the Flood Rescue Academy. I'm doing my second video on urban disaster preparedness at the request of a bunch of people on Nextdoor and other social media. So today we're going to talk about staying warm. Okay, so kind of bear with me. There's going to be a surprise bonus at the end of the lesson, but first things first, staying warm. Let's talk about clothing, okay? Don't put on every stitch of clothing you have inside the house if you got to go outside. Then psychologically, you're not going to feel as warm versus staying inside the house. So do what we do, layers. So when I go backpacking or just hiking, might be pretty chill in the morning, but once I get up, get moving everything else, I don't want to strip from a heavy duty parka down to a short sleeve t-shirt. We'll talk about layers. So let's kind of start with the feet and work our way up, okay? Feet, if you're inside the house, hey, it's okay to leave your shoes outside, let them dry everything else. If you got to go outside, obviously any type of waterproof shoe and or boot's going to be great. If you get the old style just rubber boots to put on and walk outside, that's nifty. They'll keep your feet warm. Just be careful because, like I said, you're walking outside on the ice. So good rule of thumb is, when talking about hiking clothes, get a hiking pole. It's got the pointed end, kind of help you keep your balance when you're walking out there on that ice. Okay, let's talk about footwear. Socks. So for socks, we'll come back to this. So for socks, I like to do 2 layers of socks. One, the thinner kind of wicking material sock. That's right next to your feet. That keeps your feet from getting sweaty and potentially causing you problems down the road, feet chafing, everything else. And then on the outside, the smart wool, merino wool sock, something along those lines. Now, there's all sorts of types of stuff out there as far as socks go. And towards the end of this, I'm going to give you guys a really good reference guide to use as far as clothing goes. So socks. If you got to be out working in this for whatever reason, change your socks, let them dry. Get you a fresh pair, okay? If you're staying inside the house, then I recommend just 1 pair of socks to keep your feet warm, everything else. Okay, next layer. Thermals. Silk, something lightweight. Some type of, I don't know, outdoorsy or just comfortable pants. Like this time of year, if I'm staying warm inside the house, I've got just a pair of old black kind of army style BDU pants I like to wear around the house, and just a pair of socks, and basically just look like a bum. And then if you want to get a set of like wind pants or something like that to put over that, that gives you 3 layers, covers the lower part of your body. Don't forget underwear, but what you wear for your underwear, that's really your business, not mine. All right, so that's the bottom half. Top half, kind of the same thing. Kind of a thinner, thicker undershirt, outer shirt over that. I do like the, I guess they still call them fleece tops, even though they're not always fleece, the little zip up things that everybody wears around. And then you put a parka or even a rain jacket on over that. The biggest thing that everybody seems to forget is don't forget to keep this warm. Nice stocking cap, something to cover your face. 90% of your body heat goes out right here. So got to keep that part covered. So that's another big challenge. Now, remember I did say I was going to show you a reference guide, so I don't want to be like a liar or anything else. So this is my Bible for all things outdoor clothing. This is the Ultimate Hiker's Guide, 2nd edition by Andrew Skirka. It's got great section in there on what the latest and greatest is out there on as far as heavy duty winter clothing that'll work well for you. The problem is in Texas, I bought all my heavy duty clothing like 20 years ago and it still works, so I don't know the up-to-date stuff on all the new materials and everything else out there. All right, so that's clothing. Now, we talked about losing power, which seemed to happen to quite a few of us. Okay, kickball. So, a lot of people are talking about going out and buying a generator. Not a bad idea. Keep something in mind. If you're going to buy a generator, first off, got to have fuel for it. If not, it doesn't work too well. The second thing is, don't bring it inside your house. A lot of people thought that was a good idea, but then we started getting carbon monoxide calls. Don't bring it inside your house. You might have to put it out in your garage and run like a discharge or exhaust hose out under a closed garage door to where it vents to the outside. So if you're gonna get a generator, keep that in mind. If you still have a gas fireplace, you're gonna use that. Don't forget to open the chimney flue. If not, the gas backs up and causes you problems. And believe it or not, please don't go pull your car into the garage, pile everybody into the car, shut the garage door and start the car and turn the heater on to stay warm. That happened. So believe it or not, that's actually not a good idea. Even with the garage door cracked, there's going to be buildup of carbon monoxide. Now, that being said, pre-plan. Prepare for the worst. Even if you do not have a carbon monoxide source in your house currently, get a carbon monoxide alarm anyway, because in something like this, that may change. So have something that's going to let you know that something's going to go wrong. It's going to make a loud, obnoxious beeping sound. Make sure your smoke detectors are up to date as well. So carbon monoxide alarm. The other thing is, we all got blankets, sleeping bags, or not sleeping bags, everything else, but I recommend everybody in the family, even if we're in the house, just to kind of stay comfortable, get yourself a really good mummy style sleeping bag. Because you just don't know how long it's going to stay cold, and most of the time when we buy linens for our type deal, it's more for the spring/Texas winter, but not for actually staying warm. Now, the guy I talked about earlier, Andrew Skirka, is like, you know, you don't have to buy a heavy duty sleeping bag. He goes, I just keep all my heavy clothes on and fall in a sleeping bag at night and stay warm, get up and go back hiking, but that's the dealer's choice. Okay, let's see here. Well, last but not least, now this is going to be very, very quick. I don't want any of my neighbors or the Round Rock Fire Department coming over here, so we're going to make this hopefully short and sweet. So, full disclosure, let's just say that we're starting a fire the old-fashioned way. Please don't bring a bunch of lighter fluid into your house and light your fireplace. That's kind of dangerous. Okay, so paper towel, piece of printer paper, piece of newspaper, something like that, just a wad. If you're doing it inside the house, good news is, theoretically, you should be out of the wind. If you're in the wind inside your house, shut the window. But we're going to do this out here. Start kind of lightweight here. What we're doing is, this is called kindling, all right? This is how I learned to do it in the Boy Scouts. My Scoutmaster finally figured out that I was carrying a Bic lighter, because the rule was, back in the day, you had to be able to start a fire with just 2 matches. All right, well, I try to keep it with 1 flick of the lighter, and that gets it done. But take your time, kind of make your little teepee. You want small dry stuff. If you don't have like paper or something like that, dried grass works pretty darn good. I did this with my parents the other day. They were so very proud that I had my Boy Scouts skills. I'll probably blow it in a minute, but we're gonna give it a whirl anyway. Oh, if you're wondering about all the black stuff on my hand, I did a spray and bed liner today that the directions, I swear, said, oh yeah, quick and easy and painless. Well, they didn't say anything about how clean it was, and yeah. So yeah, I'll be a few days getting all that stuff off. Yeah, too good, off you go. All right. Let's see if we can't generate enough heat here to get at least some of this going. Now give me a break, that first flick doesn't count as a practice run. Oh, come on now. I might have gone a little bit too thick with what I put on here. So if that happens, go thinner, be patient, start again. Don't get discouraged. Now the reason I say keep a bunch of Bic lighters around, because they beat trying to use matches, and yeah, you can get the little survival bracelets. I've got them. First thing we're going to do is try to block the wind here. Oop, knocked off what I was trying to do. Hardest part is, okay, so you see how the wood's caught? So concentrate your efforts. Don't burn yourself like I'm trying to do. So anyway, as you can see, I've had success. All right, that's all the wood blowing. The paper towel's pretty much gone. Keep adding to that until you get a nice base going, and then just increase the diameter of your wood size until you're pretty much caught up to what you would normally put on your fireplace on a normal day, and you're off to the races. And this will light a bunch of fires for you, and they're dirt cheap at any dadgum store. Just stock up on a bunch of these when you pre-plan. This is stuff you need to have a bunch of. All right. You know, there's one bunch, one stick. Doesn't want to stay on the pile. Yeah. So, the only thing I would do different from this, I was just trying to show you guys how to get started, was if I'm in the house, obviously if I'm out of the wind, if I'm out here, even with that little bit of breeze, you saw how much havoc that was causing me, and there's really not much breeze today. Either dig down a little bit, dig a fire pit, something like that, or get your fire pit like I've got right here, get it out of the wind. Okay, now, don't leave it out there just to burn itself out. If you don't want to use your water, because we're conserving water, whatever pit you dug dirt out of it, put that dirt back on it, tamp it down, make sure there's nothing going to come out that's going to cause us more of a problem than we already have. One disaster at a time. All right, stay tuned for the next one. We're going to talk about a little bit of first aid. Y'all have a good day. Be back in a flash.